Morning. Today is the day of my new schedule. It's currently 6:40 or 6:54 a.m. So I'm actually trying out something new now. And let me tell you guys, it is so difficult to go from going to sleep at 3 to 6 a.m. to waking up at 6 a.m. Your body just has to go through this shift in what it's adjusted through the circadian rhythm, and a part of me is exhausted, and I kept trying to convince myself that, oh no, maybe I should sleep in a little bit and get some rest. I'm gonna be tired. I went to bed at 2 a.m. I only slept 4 hours. I'm not gonna be as efficient at work. And the disciplined part in me said, no, fuck that. That's not who I am. Because I knew that I had to do something even though I didn't want to do it. I think in life we're dealt many choices, but it's usually the polarity of two. And you'll have a choice on this spectrum and on this spectrum, and your success relies on one of those, the one that you choose. And I found that you have to be so careful with the decisions that you make, because life is so precious and time is always running out. So that was my deep way of saying that I made the difficult decision of getting out of bed at 6 a.m. So I'm trying to switch things up. I am hoping that this plays the way that I want it to. But ideally, I'm in bed between 10 to 11 p.m. I'm awake at 6. And I spent about the first 45 minutes just getting out of bed, brushing my teeth, cold water on my face or a cold shower. My body declined the cold shower, I think, this morning. I convinced myself that cold splash of water in the face for a good minute was enough, so I went that route. But yeah, and then I read my book for about a good 30 minutes while I drank my morning coffee. Currently what I'm reading, it's honestly a really solid book, and I think that it's very important that everyone reads that book, because even if you don't consider yourself to be a nice guy, I think that that book can teach you a lot about not only men and women, but psychology as a whole. I actually hated reading my whole life, and I always had to force myself to read. There's just one book. There's one book that I truly enjoyed reading as a kid, and it's probably the only book I could ever say I enjoyed reading until I was 16. And that's Saving Zasha. Y'all know that that book was I used to read it all the time when I was a kid. But yeah, I enjoy reading as long as I enjoy what I'm reading. And I'm trying to get back into it, because in 2021 I was in such a big self-improvement journey. I read a lot, I gymmed, ate healthy, meal prepped, made a lot of freaking money, did the things I was supposed to do, had time to do things outside of the things I was supposed to do, and life was good. And recently, I think I've been going through this continuous loop of burnout where you kind of start to feel better and you think that you're not burnt out, and then it just kind of grasps you like that. It's like, come back, come back. And then it hits you all at once. And I've tried a lot. I'll try going on a trip. Recently I tried a retreat up north. Great night, very solid night. To only be woken up at 7 a.m. because our shop nearly flooded. Unfortunately, when you make a deal like you do with business, it's a deal you make for life. And as you scale and you kind of build that team, maybe your involvement will be very, very minimal. But there's no possibility that you won't get dragged into some major lawsuit, some major legal issue, some major scandals. It's always going to be something. When you're in business, you will always be exposed. And on the other end of that will be your mental health. And it comes down to how many exposures can I really take? When do you hit your breaking point? And for me, I feel like not only did I hit my breaking point, but I feel like I blew right past it. And I think that is burnout. Why? Awake at 6 a.m.
Yeah, one time.
You wanna work? Later, bro. Yeah. I think business has become this kind of trend where everyone says you have to be a business owner. It's not true. You don't. I think back at a lot of times when I wasn't a business owner, and although I've been a hustler since like 12 years old, I worked a very well paying job when I was 18. I only got that job to develop a skill for the businesses I aimed to open in my future, and that was sales. And I unexpectedly made a shit ton of money at 18 years old doing it. I went into it not knowing how to talk to anybody. I hated conversations with people I didn't know. I hated that kind of feeling when you want to approach somebody, but you don't know what you're going to say. You don't know where the conversation's going to go. And you just psych yourself out. And you kind of live this timid little life forever where you never put yourself out there. And living that forever was my worst fear. So I forced myself to do something that I never imagined I could do. And it's not only talking to people and being forced to learn them on a psychological level, but selling to people. Starting off with somebody who has the worst impression of you because of your profession, and being able to not only become friends with them, but convince them to buy something that maybe they don't actually want to buy. But that skill set taught me a lot in life. And kind of got off track there, but I think where I was getting at is that that time in my life was probably, and I guess it's tough to say what I'm about to say because I guess in the moment maybe it wasn't, but reflecting back on it, it was. But it was a time when I felt most at peace because I could go to work, do what I had to do, and then leave work. And any problems,
It's Wednesday,
I was,
February 4th.
Alexa, pause. And any problems I was having would stay there. Now with business, if you leave at 6 p.m., your problems follow you. Sometimes they even haunt you. And I think every business is different. And if you're in a business where you don't have those issues, or maybe you have like a 0.01% chance of that happening, then God bless you. You are in a, I would say, highly desirable business. And I hope it's profitable for you. And I hope it's highly profitable for you. But unfortunately, the business I decided to truly go all in on not only was not super profitable, it is profitable. We profit every year. But that percentage is nowhere near 0.01%. So is it worth it? Is it worth the sacrifice of your mental health and your happiness and your overall well-being? I don't know. I still try to figure that out myself. And when you factor in other businesses too, you start to wonder, when do you not only break free of your threshold, but when do you just suck your brain so dry that you don't want to do anything in life? You don't want to ever open up another business. Because one of my businesses will just beat the shit out of you, kick you on the ground, and then spit in your face. And then it might even drive over you. And boom, speed bump. And just when you thought it was over, you're like, okay, got the spit in the face, now I can rest in peace. The car goes flying 80 miles an hour. That's the business that I'm in. And I think when you are starting off, and I wouldn't say you're desperate, but you know you have to do something, and you find something where you've learned that there's a gap, and you're there to fill that gap, then you kind of have to do it, or you think you have to do it, and you make decent money doing it, where it's like, okay, why would I stop? But then the problems just keep coming and they don't end. And you're like, okay, how long can I take these beatings? So, yeah, this is how I'm starting my my morning here. It's 7 a.m. now, but business isn't for everyone. And if you have a well-paying job with good benefits, then you have to understand the sacrifices that you're going to be making leaving a job like that. And for me, it wasn't a decision. So I at no point will sit here and say, you know, oh, I wish I didn't choose this path. No, because it's been inside of me. It's been in my heart. God has called me towards a path like this since I was a little kid. So for me, it's like this is just part of my journey. And what I truly believe is that God is building strength within me and resilience within me, because he knows one day what I will have and the things that I might have to deal with. Ideally, I won't have to deal with often, but nonetheless, when you build a strong, scalable business, you're gonna have to expect to deal with shit. Hopefully not on the daily, but frequently, I would say. And what keeps me going? Well, I guess is that I have no choice. I wasn't given the luxury of making a decision. For me, I was kind of in the mindset of, hey, I have no choice. I need to build something. I need to build it soon. And my life has always felt like I have my foot in a door, and it's an imaginary door. And every day I age, the door gets closer and closer and closer to shutting on my foot. And it's coming really, really fast. And I picture it as like 200-mile-an-hour door. If it closes on my foot not only hurts, but it's probably going to get chopped off. And that's been how, unfortunately, I have been seeing my success for the past few years, because the biggest reasons I'm doing what I'm doing today is for my family. And it's been my dream to retire my mom, and to not only do that, but to be able to take care of the people that I love, and be able to buy my grandma anything she wants, fly her out to Armenia whenever she wants, bring my family here from Armenia, so my mom and my grandma can finally have, their blood here. And every day that goes on is like a day that I feel I'm inching closer to failure. And I don't consciously think like that every single day, but subconsciously it's there. It kind of eats away at me at times. And it's like this never-ending race where you kind of have to define your own level and version of success, but you know what it means. Like, once these things come true, then I'm successful. But at no point has my success been built on, purely self, driven things. Don't get me wrong, I love cars. My dream cars, I have plenty of dream cars that I want. GTR, an M4 again, a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, a Urus, GTR, an R34. I just have this list of vehicles that I want, right? I have this version in my head of a dream house. I bought the only ever luxury watch that I've ever wanted. And it's honestly like, if I died with this watch and just this watch, I'd be fine. Because I saw it and my brain just fell in love with it. And I knew that I was going to get it. And I told myself I will not wear a watch unless it's that watch. And I bought it. And it's the best feeling in the world. But to not get off track, there are things that along this journey I have really wanted to do or to learn. But it always comes back to, why did I actually start? And truly, it's because of others. Every time I see a homeless person on the street, or I see somebody struggling in life, or I hear a story about somebody who's they're on their last few dollars and they have a family to feed, or they're going to be homeless, it's like the Superman in me is like, I want to save this person's life. But unfortunately, I don't have the means to do it. And as much as I try to do it now, realistically, the way that I've always kind of envisioned my success, I guess you can call it, is that I'm in this hole and I'm trying to dig myself out of it. And every time I kind of spend money on things and I try to help people and overextend myself more than I should, it's like I'm digging my hole deeper, but it's like I'm helping people at the same time. So it's like kind of like I'm getting what I always wanted out of it, right? I'm being able to do good in life and see, you know, and just allow my light to shine through me into others, shine God's light through me. Guys, it's 7 a.m. I'm still sleeping. Into others. But it's like you're kind of getting what you wanted, right? But it's like the bigger picture is like it's a lot of freaking money to retire your mom, to get your grandma to be able to go anywhere that she wants, and to bring family here, and to just be able to take care of your loved ones. You know, I think that it's very, very expensive. And it's like every time I try to do something, it's like more money's gone, more money's gone. And it's like that kind of delays my success, right? Because that money could be used to be invested in my business, to be invested in stocks, to put into stuff that will accumulate me more money. And it's like I've had to learn where this kind of fine line is between be present and do the things that your heart calls you to do, but at the same time have this dream and work towards it as hard as you can. And I guess it's not the worst thing, right? Because it's like, I guess kind of that dream is kind of being fulfilled as I work towards it. But I think for me, it's just a matter of, you know, realizing that I'm not where I've always expected myself to be at my age. And this sign kind of haunts me, but I feel called to just show you guys it. So I have this sign here, and I wrote this when I was 18. And yeah, so I don't beat myself up about it by any means, but when I was at that age, all I wanted to do was to, again, be somebody who can help others. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know, like a lot of things I've been reading, like books I've been reading, and just psychology says that when you always try to help others, you're selfish because you're kind of fulfilling a need for yourself, and you making others feel better makes you feel good. But I don't know, I don't feel that way. I just, like, sometimes, for example, if I'll pay for somebody in the drive-through behind me, I try to speed away as fast as I can because I don't want them to know who it was, or I don't want them to say, like, thank you to me. I just kind of want to do it and know that I left an impact on somebody. Like, I love donating anonymously. Anytime I've ever done a GoFundMe, I type in anonymous. So I don't know, I just feel like it's just God working through me. I don't think it's anything, you know, selfishness wise or anything that, you know, a lot of people say it is, but that's the good thing about reflection is if a million people point at you and say that you are this person, but you've done enough reflection in life to know that you are who you think you are, and you kind of have formed an identity of yourself where people can sit and stare at your eyes and say, you are not this person, you are not this person, you are not this person, that you just block it out because you're like, yes, I am. And to some, it could be a level of delusion, but to others, it just, hey, this is me. But yeah, I think that's really all. I don't really know where I got off topic here or where I was going with any of this, but yeah, business is not easy. It's not. So if you're in a position of trying to start, or you're already in it, or you're dealing with issues with it, all I'm going to say is that if you feel called to it, then you'd be a fucking idiot to not. But if it's something where you're like, yeah, maybe I'll try it, run the fuck away. This isn't something you try. This is something that you have to essentially dedicate your life to. You have to be willing to dedicate your life to. And a lot of people, they get lucky, and they'll say that it's not luck, but a lot of times it is. And when I say they'll get lucky, I don't mean the level of success that they're at or their business is at, but more so the speed that they get there. And I don't think anything in life can be done alone. I think that God will send people your way, or people will come into your life. And it's the small things that people do that get you to the points of success faster. Putting you, in the right places with the right people. Like, when you have a good group of people that actually care about you and they always look out for you, your name will be mentioned in rooms that you will never step in. And in doing that, you will meet people because of that. And it's happened multiple times to me where, I either work with people or people work with me, where we kind of meet through another person because that person got us connected. And I think that's not to be ignored. But I do think a lot of people ignore that. And a lot of people say, oh, if it wasn't for me, myself, and I, and I'm the only one that got me to where I am. It's not true. There's probably tens, if not hundreds of people that I guess are to say somewhat responsible for, or yeah, responsible, I guess, for your success. Because that one friend that introduced you to somebody that helped you make another 10,000 a month, maybe it didn't come instantly, but the relationship that you were able to establish with the person that your friend connected you with grew your business much faster, and stuff like that isn't to be ignored. But I digress. If you feel called to it, start that fucking business. Stop fucking waiting. And if you're in that business and you want to give up, but you feel called to keep going, keep fucking going. Keep going. If you feel called by God or by whoever that you follow, or whatever, your heart, doesn't matter. Do it. Don't stop. We have one life, and the last thing you want to do is get to your deathbed wishing that you did something that you should have done a long time ago. I think that that's one of my worst fears is knowing that I lived an incomplete life, and incomplete in my own terms. I know what a complete life to me would be one day. And that's one of my biggest fears. So stop living in fear and start living in action. Do the things that you want to do. Do the things that you feel called to do. And do the things that you know you need to do. Alright. It's time to get on with my day. This is, 30 minutes. I don't even know if I'm going to post this, but if I end up posting it and you guys enjoy this, let me know, because I have a lot of these kind of videos where I never post them. So, I guess we'll see. Alright, stay blessed. God is good, and Christ is King.